Conor McGregor will take on Dustin Poirier in their trilogy match as the headliner to UFC 264 on July 10th. Odds have been released for the matchup, and on the open, McGregor was a very slight favorite, -120 with Poirier at -110. A lot of books have tightened up, so they're even right now, but a couple still have McGregor as the favorite, even though he just got knocked out by Poirier not that long ago. So, what do we think here? Do the odds makers have it right? Matt?
Well, based on the previous fights and where those lines were set, yes, they have it more correct. Their first fight, Conor was around a -280 favorite. The rematch recently, he was a -310. And now Vegas is kind of like, okay, maybe Dustin actually is the better fighter now. And you see the close line almost at even money. So yeah, it makes sense now. I'm glad that it's nothing crazy. I mean, we could see the line eventually, influenced by the Conor loyalists as the fight gets closer. But right now where it's at is perfect, in my opinion. I think it's perfect. And there's a lot of good value in the props, I'm sure we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare it to those other ones, I really like what you're saying, Matt. But initially when, kind of hearing about it, I think that Poirier should be favored considering what just happened oh so recently. But then again, this is not at all surprising for Conor McGregor to still get the edge here in the betting odds because the guy just has that kind of pull with the fan base and everybody believing in him. So he's always going to make it where he's either the favorite when he shouldn't be, or it's going to be extremely close and he's going to have much better odds than he should. Floyd Mayweather fight, for example. So yeah, not at all surprising. But I mean, it's better than the other ones, but I wouldn't say it's perfect. I think Poirier should be favored, not by a whole lot, but comfortably.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Poirier should have the edge here, even if it is slight. I understand it, right? I mean, this is the same type of situation we saw at UFC 260 with Stipe versus Ngannou, right? Where Ngannou was a slight favorite. And even though Stipe, based on their last outing, had completely dominated him and neutralized Ngannou, he was still, the favorite simply because, Ngannou has that knockout power. I think that's the same thing here, is we know McGregor can put anyone's lights out. We know Poirier can do it too, as we just witnessed, but McGregor is much more known for it. He has the one-punch power. As I said in our preview to their first fight, Poirier gets TKOs through volume. He doesn't have just one shot and it's over. He stings you and then he comes in, he outboxes you, he gets you when you're hurt, but he lands a lot of volume to get the finish. McGregor has that, I can hit you once and put you down on your butt power in his hand, and I think that's part of the reason. That coupled with, yes, it is Conor McGregor, as well as he's going to take this more seriously, yada, yada, yada. But we've seen McGregor come back for a rematch and be, much better. Nate Diaz, of course, right? Second Diaz fight, he looked like a totally different fighter compared to the first one. So, again, it's, one of those things, I get why it's so close and that McGregor is the favorite. I can see why they did that, but I disagree with it. I think you should have had Poirier as the slight favorite in this case. With that being said, let's look at some of these props. As Matt alluded to, you've got Poirier to win by submission at plus 900. You've got McGregor to win by TKO as only a plus 110, which is the best prop I think that you can get on this bout. What are some props that stick out to you, and do they make sense? Is there any value here, guys?
I think the biggest value, I guess, so to speak, would be the Dustin Poirier by TKO, TKO, currently at plus 210 on some books. I mean, the guy just won by TKO. There is very good reason to believe that he will do it again as well, especially if he comes in there with that same sort of confidence. It's a very strong likelihood, in my opinion, that could happen again. So getting it at plus 210 is incredible value. Another one that I really do like, I don't want to steal it from Drake if he may be going this way, but
I actually don't have him up, so
okay.
I can't even see.
Okay. All right, I'm safe then. Poirier by submission at plus 900 is an incredible value. incredible. We know that the guy likes to jump on submission attempts, and Conor is susceptible to those as well. So, two very good props. If you think Poirier is going to win the fight, you might as well go ahead and drop money on these two props as well. So, I don't see why you wouldn't otherwise. Because do you really think it's going to go to the final belt? Do you really think it's going to be a decision? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, very good points. And I'm curious, guys, please tell me what the odds are for a decision. But I am gonna...
The odds for just a decision outright, or for Poirier or McGregor by decision? Okay, so Poirier by decision is plus 550. McGregor by decision is plus 750.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. That's tough. It's hard for me to imagine it going there. I guess it would be more likely maybe than the first fight. I don't know. It's tougher maybe to say that afterward, but I really do like the submission prop for Poirier, actually, just because I could see this being a fight where I already feel like it's not going to look too much differently than the first one, but if it is to, I could see it where Poirier does his damage, hurts McGregor, is on his path to yet another knockout, but maybe he knocks him down and instead finds an opening where McGregor's back's turned or whatever, and then jumps on a rear naked, or, maybe a guillotine, which he loves to do, depending on how the position's set up. But I could see it being that case where the fight looks pretty much the same as the first one, knocks him down, but instead just sinks in a submission at some point, which fall right up to follow that up, So I think that one is a really good one. Either way, a finish for Dustin. I think that those are pretty good ones to go with no matter what. But if I was to do the decision one, I think you'd have to do Dustin, though. That's good. A good money on that one, because we've seen McGregor has faded kind of in the past in multiple fights. Haven't really seen that with Dustin, and especially against a guy like Dustin. If there's going to be a decision for somebody, I would lean towards the diamond. So I like that too, actually.
Yeah, I think,
And that's all Dustin winning. I realize that. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Yeah. When you're talking about value, right? Yeah, I think any of those work. I think even Poirier by decision, it's the least. It is number 3 for sure in the list of those possible options of what I would put some money on. But plus 550, right? Especially if McGregor, does manage to stay alive early on or get that second win like he did against Nate Diaz, right? In the second Diaz fight, where Diaz seemed to really do well in the middle rounds, and then McGregor came back with the second win. I think you could look at that one as a possibility, maybe throw a flyer on it. But I think submission especially and TKO make a lot of sense. Submission because, Dustin at any time could easily rock Conor, get him down. And we've seen when Conor gets hurt, sometimes he likes to shoot. He likes to go for a leg or do something like that. That's easy for Dustin to just go ahead and, latch on a submission and get that win for you. That's huge value at plus 900. So I really like that one. That's my favorite. I know they don't have odds released yet for fight goes the distance or anything of that nature, but I would even wager he probably going to get some value on under 3 rounds, right? Or, especially with the way Dustin likes to fight. The man has just been a finish or be finished machine. Or there's Dan Hooker, who just had a crazy chin that probably, and Max Holloway, both who had ridiculous chins that probably got deteriorated. But they were wars. They were insane wars. So I think, this fight is going to be, not with somebody's going to win within the distance. I would imagine you could go Poirier by decision if you're dead set on a decision, but I think it's definitely going to be within the distance. So those are the best bets and props that we have, and how we feel about the odds. Let us know how you feel about the odds. Should Poirier be the favorite here? Do you think McGregor should be the favorite because of his one-punch knockout power? Do you like those props? Anything of that nature, let us know in the comments. Remember, we're technically not, we're not any licensed people on financial advice. This is just our opinion on where we see value, all that, yada, yada, yada. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share, notification, all of that as well. And yeah, let's see where the odds move as, time goes on.